Sadhana. My name is Jen, or Param Sevikar, and welcome to the first video for my YouTube channel for the Whole Soul Modern Girl series. We have a blog as well as do periodic podcasts, but I thought a video would be a great way to add to this experience. As you can see, it's right after Christmas here in my house, so I'm right in front of our Christmas tree, which is a wonderful expression of my family and myself at this time of year through the solstice and moving into the new year. So I figured for the first video, we're going to be doing videos of meditations, pranayam, just talking about things. But for this first video, what I thought I'd do is answer a question that I know comes up a lot, and that's actually one that's near and dear to my heart. And we talk about in my blog this week is morning sadhana or morning Aquarian sadhana. What is it? What do you do? There's been numerous times that at the studio I go to at Kundalini Yoga Boston where new people come in and have no idea what they're getting into and often leave very delightfully surprised, but have no idea what it is, expect it to be a normal Kundalini Yoga class, which it's not. And it does bear similarities, but it is its own wonderful experience in and of itself. So I thought I'd just give you an idea for any of you who are considering adding this to one of your practices. I know KYB offers it once a week on Sunday mornings, and check with your local studio if you're not, in Boston or in this area, and see if they offer it. Many Kundalini Yoga studios I've noticed do offer they are free normally, morning sadhana. So check it out, see if this inspires you, give it a go, try it. I know that once a week is very, very manageable. For me especially, when I was first starting, I was like, oh, I can't do this every day. But I found that I could always do it once a week, and doing it once a week with my community really strengthened myself and my experience and connection to those around me. So it made it a whole nother level for me, being able to go in once a week. Now that I try to bring this morning practice, if not the morning Aquarian version, just waking up and doing the morning practice myself, going in and being able to do the full entirety of the morning Aquarian sadhana. Hello, kitty cat. Is a great experience and a great gift that I find for me, and hopefully you will as well. So let's talk about it. What is the morning Aquarian sadhana? So what do you do? What are you doing? So it often starts at 4:30 or 4 a.m. depending on the studio. I've seen both. I know KYB we start at 4:30 with the reading of Japji. Now, I know some of you are going, 4:30, oh God, I can't stop right there. Breathe, it's okay. It's actually a lot more manageable than you think it is. Go to bed maybe an hour earlier, set your alarm clock, take a cold shower when you wake up. All these things make it a little easier to get up and keep up with this practice. I find that if I tell myself I have to be there, it's amazing what difference that makes. It's amazing how much easier it is for me to get up and actually show up than going, well, if I happen to get up, or if I feel like getting up today, then I'll go. Nope. Say you're going. Make the commitment. You tend to show up more that way. So we start at 4:30 with Japji. Now during Japji, something that's not often shared is, you are asked sometimes to cover your head. I know at KYB, we ask that you cover your head. This doesn't mean you need to learn to do a turban, or you need to have a fancy head covering. You can use a bandana. You can, as long as your head is covered. And the reason we do this is because Japji is a wonderful experience, wonderful reading, and also very special. And we give it honor by covering our heads. We give it honor and acknowledge its amazing weight and spiritual gift to us by covering our head. So that's why we do it. It's not to try to be weird. It's not to try to be a part of a cult or anything. It's like you would do with any spiritual practice, anything that you're doing that, many Christians bow their heads during the reading of the Bible. Many different cultures, cover their heads as a sign of respect. And that's kind of what we're doing. We're just acknowledging and respecting this great work. You don't have to understand what it means. It's great if you do. You don't have to be able to follow along and read. Normally at KYB, I know we do audio versions that are playing as people are chanting. Listen. If you don't know what's going on, if you don't understand what's being said, just listen. That's great. That's a great experience right there. So that normally lasts around 20 to 30 minutes. Then we go into the more actual physical part. We begin warm-ups and Kriya. Every teacher, every person who's leading the sadhana may have their own Kriya that they're bringing to sadhana. This, though, I will make a point of saying, is where it varies a tiny bit from normal classes as well. In this moment, when we do morning sadhana, the teacher tends not to talk as much during classes, and there's also not a lot of music that's played during this. It's a chance for you to go within, to do your practice, and to not let yourself drift, but to really go in the silence in yourself, and to be in yourself and with those around you in yourself. So it's pretty awesome that way. I find, even though I adore music, I'm one of the first people that will turn on some rockin' mantra while I do my yoga, but I really found that I enjoyed the silence and having that moment where it was silent, because it's dark out and it's quiet and it's beautiful. I found I love it. So you start the Kriya, and they can range from short to longer, and then everyone does it different. I know this week, the first Sunday after New Year's, so I believe that's the third. We're going to be doing the Navi Kriya for Prana Apana. Which is not a very long Kriya, but I find has some really powerful moments, and is one that I personally am working on, so I thought I would share with everyone going into this new year. And then you do Shavasana, same as you normally would. Sometimes people play gong, sometimes they don't, same as a class. But what's cool now is, instead of doing one specific mantra, like you might do in a class, or maybe two, you do what's called the Aquarian mantras, which is a collection of mantras that run normally around about an hour, give or take. Now I know you might be thinking, again, I can't do that. That's an hour. That's long. It's not as bad as you think it would be. You kind of really get in the flow. And because the mantras change, I know I have a lot of trouble sometimes keeping my focus, but the change in the mantra and the different energy each mantra has really helps me transition and continue to move through them. So it's really wonderful. We start with Longe Onkars. Now, if you haven't ever done Longe Onkars, there's an actual visualization that you do with it, where you're going to think each syllable is moving up through your different chakras, till the last syllable goes straight out through your heads, out into the infinite universe around you. You also are going to apply locks at two locations. The first one is on Ek, which you're going to pull up on Mulban. If you don't know what Mulban is, it's pulling up on the sex organs and the rectum, the lower abdominals. I like thinking to pull in and up on my lower abdominals, and that tends to lightly pull up on the rest of it. It gives me a good foundation to start doing the Mulban. And you're going to pull up, let the energy swirl and resonate. So it's breathe in. Ek, Om. On Om, you're going to move it up to the second chakra, to your sacral area. Kar, will, resonate there. Then you're going to breathe in again. Sat! If your heart, it's a pull in. So you're holding Mubon still. You don't let that go. It's not a grip, but you're just gently still holding it. But after you breathe in, you pull in on your navel center as well. For Sat, energy swirls. Nam goes to the heart center. I like thinking for Nam, for the Sat Nam, it's true self, true identity. It's going from your navel center, center of self, to your heart center. And that really helps me. I really think that's beautiful going there. So, Ek, Onkar, Sat, Nam. And then quickly, Siddhi, which is right here at your throat chakra. Then you sniff in, still kind of holding everything. Va, right here at your ajna, your third eye. Hey Guru, shining out into the infinite around you. Relax. Breathe in and start the process again. So it's really this pulling up and shining straight out through your crown chakra, through the top of your head into the infinite world around you. It's a wonderful experience. And those locks really do kind of change the experience. So make sure, it's never crazy tense for this one. It's pull, pull, shine, release, pull, pull, shine, release. Okay, so from the long ekonkars, and the reason we say long is because it quite often is a very slow process. Different recordings take at different lengths. If you need to breathe in the middle of it, breathe. It's okay. So from long ekonkars, we go into the Vayanti mantra. And there's no mudra for this. You can have your hands in prayer position. You can have your hands on your knees. I often put my hands in Gyam Mudra, this, on my knees. Focus, I normally do focus at ajna, at the third eye, or at least I try to. Sometimes I drift and just come right back. That's all it is. So Ekonkar, you do that for the long Ekonkar, 7 minutes. Vayanti, 7 minutes. And then you move into the Mool Mantra, which is Ekonkar, Satnam, Kartapurik, Nirbon, Nirver, Akala Murit, Arjuni, Sebang Guru Prasad, Jap, Ada Sach, Jugada Sach, Ebi Sach, Naniko Hosi Bi Sach. So long Ekonkars, there's, it has similar words, but they are different. That's why they're different mantras. So you chant this for 7 minutes as well. Then from here, you move into Sat Siddhi, Siddhi Akal, for another 7 minutes. And then you move into Raka Raka Nahar. Now, quite often people get very overwhelmed when the Raka Raka Nahar starts, because for the other mantras, they may have heard them, or there's not very many words, sounds that they have to repeat, and they start catching on very quickly. Raka Raka Nahar does have a lot of words, and a lot of fast words. So if you're not able to say them all in the first, welcome to the club. It can be very difficult, and I found that it took me months of listening and trying to say it every single day, reading along. And we do at KYB, I know, include, we have nitnams for you to read during sadhana, so you can read along for the mantras if you would like as well, that have the transliteration underneath it. And that's what I used when I started. And I would be ecstatic when I got one new word. And then I'd miss 3 lines and I got one more word. And it's a process. And that's okay. Again, it's the same as Japji. Go ahead and listen. You're still getting benefit by being there and being part of that space and listening. I personally like to mumble along if I can, but I'm a musician, so I find that by trying to replicate the sounds, if I can, I'll start learning the sounds. Everyone's different. Do what's right for you. So after Raka Raka Nahar, we go into the Vaheguru Vahejiyo mantra. Now this one does suit, if you've been in seated with Gyam Mudra and prayer pose, you are going to shift now. The leader of sadhana should tell you this, just to kind of, in case you're in a zone, make sure you know what's coming next. You're going to go into a different mudra where you sit on your left leg, heel in your butt, knee up, hands in prayer pose. You're kind of in this like half kneeled down, half sitting position. And you want to look at the tip of your nose. Your eyes are kind of going to be closed. And that's where you're going to focus. Now, we do this mantra for 22 minutes. So as you can see, I'm already starting to rock. I personally have exceedingly tight hamstrings and Achilles from all my years of dance and from just being me and the way my body is working. So what I tend to do, and if you have these available and you need to, please feel free to use them. I put a bolster under my kneeling down leg so that my knee isn't actually even touching the ground and my ankle is kind of sitting off the edge. And then that allows a little less pressure on my hips and on my knees. And then I take a block and I actually sit right under this thumb, under the kneeling side. And that gives me a foundation that I can hold so I'm not sitting here going, ooh, right? So I find that, and then I'm able to hold the pose for much longer. Now, if this is still exceedingly uncomfortable for you, and I know I was injured, and I have been injured in past times, or this just gets to be too much some mornings, that's fine. Come out. I find I take, instead of sitting on my heel, I bring my knee around, my ankle around, and just kind of put it right behind my leg so that, if you can see me, but so it's like this. So you kind of have them almost kind of a little crossed. Or if you really need to, easy pose. Great. Whatever, do what's right for your body. Don't try to hurt yourself or hold something because you think you're supposed to do that. You know your body better than anyone else. Honor it. Honor where you are. That's great. So after we finish this, we go into the Guru Ram Das chant. Some people bring their hands. You come down back into easy pose from this. It's amazing the relief when you get off your heel and you go, ah. It's wonderful. So you can come. I tend to put my hands over my heart at this point. Personally, I like doing that. I personally love singing this mantra in this pose. That's me. I feel like I end the practice bringing it all into my heart center. That way, I've seen people do it in prayer pose. I've seen people do it in Gyan Mudra with their hands on their knees. Great. That's awesome. This is the shortest of the mantras, and it's 5 minutes. So as you can see, you're about at an hour now of chanting. So I personally try to always have water because at 4:30 or by the time we start chanting, it's normally almost around 5:45, 6. I'm dry. And so I find that the water allows me to keep going. I don't have to get up as much. And it's just a good thing to have because you're chanting so much. And as a singer, you should stay hydrated. I mean, think about it. You're singing normally. It's basically for an hour. So it's a lot. And after Guru Ram Das, we end it like any normal Kundalini class. Bridget wants to be a part of the video. And we end it with Long Time Sun and Sadhana. So if you have any questions, leave comments down below. And also feel free to follow my blog. I normally talk about different practices, different meditations there. And check out the podcast where we give audio to go along with your practice. So have a wonderful New Year and see you next time. Sadhana.